guess you can do whenever you want. Welcome to the show. Y'all already know who it is, Mr. Get That Work, Hawk Von Dame. You are you, and we are here.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're going to get right into it. My initial first thoughts after watching that Ortiz fight was y'all criticized me when I said that Crawford and Madrimov wasn't really that close to me. Criticized me. Now, looking at this fight, was this fight a close fight? Did you think it was a clear winner? I mean, not for nothing. It was a very competitive fight. But in comparison, Crawford versus Madrimov and Ortiz versus Bohachuk, whatever his name is, no offense, it was two different, it was night and day. It wasn't the same type of close fight that everybody's trying to say. And I think a lot of people realize it now. In the Crawford fight, I think it was just the style. It had nothing to do with him moving up in weight. It wasn't a weight issue. I always said it was the style, and he didn't get the stoppage. And this
No,
with
hold
Ortiz,
on. I disagree with you a little bit. I think it was the style, but also a bigger fighter, a bigger, stronger fighter. So he couldn't press the gas as much as he would against a smaller guy.
This nigga just cut me off.
I'm just saying.
Okay. And watch this. Do you think he could beat Earl at 154?
Cool.
Crawford.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not about the weight to me.
But what I'm saying is that guy wasn't a 154. I mean, Earl's not a 154 guy. This guy's bigger.
Yo, fat ass Earl is a 154.
Nah, man.
Bro, stop. Earl's over there swimming with the Dolphins right now. Earl could compete at 160 if he really wanted to.
No, he could, but he hasn't. So it's a difference of you being a big boy and your body's used to fighting at this weight and you're used to fighting guys that size. So it's going to be a same comparison now with Ortiz and this guy. Ortiz normally would have knocked the guy out, but now you're fighting a bigger guy who's used to fighting bigger people, so he could take your shots better than people at that weight. So to me, when someone's moving up, it's hard for them to look impressive, especially where it's not the first time they're moving up or the second time. When you start to get in the third, fourth, or fifth time they're moving up, now they're not going to look as impressive. It's very, very rare that someone carries their power up that much because those guys at that weight been campaigning at that weight.
Sure.
Huh?
Sure. Did you take away from this fight that Ortiz would be a competitive match with Crawford?
Ooh, no. He's too hittable.
Now, and the reason why I just brought up the weight thing is because so many people, like I said, were saying that it is a closer fight. I thought it was 8-4 for Crawford. The reason why I keep bringing up Crawford is because initially after the Crawford fight, people were saying that, nah, I don't think he should be in there with Canelo. Now, it came out later on that Crawford weighed about 170 in that fight. Whatever the case was, he might have been heavier than Madrimov. Now, does he look at least that he could be ready for Canelo versus Ortiz being ready for Crawford? Because, not for nothing, I just don't see it. I don't see it in Ortiz. Ortiz is a B fighter to me. He's maybe just teetering B plus, right below, but I don't want to give him a B plus because of the lack of defense. So I'm gonna say he's a B fighter. Crawford is an A fighter, an A plus fighter.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a close match.
Well, I'm not sure if they're comparing the two. I don't know who's put that out there, but
that's the fight that Your Excellency won. He wants Ortiz and Crawford. They can't get Canelo.
It's an exciting fight. At this point, I don't want Canelo to make any more money. It sounds fucked up, but I just want him out of boxing. I want him out of boxing the same way I wanted Mayweather out of boxing. I'm going to refer to this a little later when we talk about the Olympics. Greater versus best. Just give me a little reminder to bring me back to the point. I find Ortiz very entertaining and would rather him get a payday just off of entertainment. You're not paying necessarily for the results. You're paying more to be entertained. So in terms of the tonight's fight, to me, the scorecards were kind of on point where he won, but not by this gross margin. And I do think he won, clearly, but it was so competitive and entertaining. I was just happy with the fight. I'm more, forget criticizing. I was fucking blown away with the back and forth battle. Like I appreciated the fight more than the result. I don't really care about the result. You know, I just found it. I wanted to go. Did you think it was fight of the year?
I don't know. I don't know if it was fight of the year. You know, it's easy to say that when both guys lack defense. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it is.
Yo, what's up with you? You shooting hard at Ortiz. What's going on today? I wanted to show him love, and you just bang snipering him. What the fuck?
I wasn't super impressed. I thought he would have more. This is the guy that Oscar De La Hoya calls the future of boxing. That's his tag name, the future of boxing. Where was the defense? And he got dropped twice.
Yes, he did. He did get dropped. I don't think they counted the first one. Did they count the first one?
Not initially.
Oh, okay.
Not initially, and then they did. So I think, you know what I'm saying, like, it wasn't that I wanted to see a knockout. It's just maybe a little more defense. I would have been a little more impressed by his performance. I just think both guys lack defense, and you know, he's been around for some time. He's young, but he, you know what I'm saying, he has some decent fights and he has a decent resume. I still don't feel like he's ready.
I see where you're going with it, but I still want to show him love. It was an entertaining ass fight, man.
Yeah, it was entertaining. It was entertaining.
He does get hit, and that's part of the, I guess, the allure people have for Ortiz. Maybe that's what De La Hoya feels. Yeah, entertained as fuck. He goes out there and gives it. He leaves it out there for you.
So before we move on, you're saying that you didn't think it was a robbery. You didn't think Bohachuk won. You didn't think it was a draw. Because it was pretty close where I could see it being a draw. But how did you feel like the right person won?
Yeah, I also kind of agreed with the scorecards, because you do got to take in the fact that regardless if I felt he lost those rounds, that he got the knockdowns in.
Sure. You
still got to give a point for the drop. So at the very least, it becomes a 10-9 round. And I'm not sure if they were going by the championship rules where you must score a 10-point round. So you still got to give him at least that round. And I wasn't really scoring, but I felt like it was competitive. But I still gave most of the edge towards Ortiz. But you're right in the sense that he does get hit a lot. And when you're moving up, that's the worst type of thing. So while he's having this fight, in my mind, I'm going, this wasn't really a great move for him unless it results in a payday after. You know, because like you said, he's so hittable. I think he's going to be vulnerable to losing if he fights any of those top guys at that weight. If he fights like a Fedora may knock him out. If he fights Crawford may knock him out. Really, any of those guys there. You know, I'm not sure if Charlo's planning to make a weight, a journey back down in weight, but I think any of those guys would pretty much put him down.
Okay. And you know what? The fact that you brought up Fedora, shout out to Gabriel Fedora, because I was impressed by that. That was an impressive performance to me.
That's funny. I felt the other way.
Oh, man, I loved it. While she did get hit with some shots, she did show good technical skill to me. She did show decent defense. You know, she was in there with somebody who was going to engage with her and was trying to pick her shots pretty well. But I feel like in most of the back and forth, I feel like Fedora won and got the best of it. And at the end of the fight, you seen the girl's face. So, you know, I liked her performance a lot. I thought she did well.
So this is where I gotta take a shot at you. You criticize Ortiz for not having no defense, but the same problems that her brother has, where I guess his strength also becomes his weakness, because his length leads him to overhand shots, because of his size.
Sure.
head straight up. She has the same deficiency. They're the exact same avatar, just with different chromosomes. She was getting hit with plenty of bombs. It's just the girl didn't have enough power. I was like, man, the same way Pandora got knocked out a couple fights, she could have got knocked out this fight.
My man, that wasn't a bomb. Maybe that was a stone. Maybe like she threw a couple of pebbles at her. It wasn't a bomb. It wasn't she was landing bombs. Let's like, come on now, stop. She wasn't landing bombs.
No, the shots were so clean. They were haymakers, but they weren't power punches, is what I'm saying. You're right.
No, those were her power punches. They were just stones. They were just pebbles. Like that was the best she had, bro.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. She brought a pea shooter to a gunfight. I get it.
No, I understand your criticism, but like I said, I felt like she had better defense than Ortiz showed. She wasn't getting hit with everything, but she did, she did pull back. She did try to, lean with it, but she showed good technical skill, which I like. What me personally, I enjoyed it.
I get it, man. I get it. Shout out to her. At least it was entertaining. I think the whole night was pretty entertaining, man.
Yeah, the whole night was pretty decent. I'm not sure if it was better than the men's basketball Olympics.
Durant back to Curry, dancing on Batum over the double team. Oh! It's a golden dagger. Night.
But Curry, the chef, baby, he was cooking.
So we always have this debate of better versus greater. I got my son in the corner. I'm gonna take a shot at him real quick because we constantly have this Jordan versus LeBron debate.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. In terms of greatness, do you think, not better, who's greater, LeBron or Curry?
Oh.
That's the debate when you're talking about GOATs.
Greater.
Okay.
Who had more great moments?
That's what I'm thinking. That when I look at LeBron,
I think it's tied.
Wow, yeah.
I think their greatness is tied, but I think LeBron is better.
Of course,
he did come back from being down 3-1 against them.
Yes,
and that's pretty great.
Yes, we're surrounded by circumstances, but that moment's great.
That's probably LeBron's greatest moment.
It probably is, but it's overshadowed by who hit that last shot. No, I'm just saying he did some great things leading up to that moment in terms of defense and putting them in that position.
Right.
But when it came down to the final play of the game, it was Kyrie that won the game. I'm just saying, I don't know. Like when I look at body of work, I'm a sucker for. Maybe it's because I'm such an Eli Manning fan. I love when someone takes over the game in those final clutch moments. It's something to be said, and not that LeBron doesn't have that, but in a lot of moments where it came time for him to take those shots, he kind of deferred. And not all the time, but I'm just saying comparison to the other GOATs. That's what I'm saying. So the better versus greater debate, Curry went out there and was not passing the ball, had no intentions on passing the ball, shooting from everywhere. And, it just made me appreciate his greatness, man, and throw out the debate. Who's greater? Right. Curry or LeBron? I'm just saying.
Okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I understand the argument. We had that argument in reference to boxing all the time. So I definitely get where you're coming from. I think they're a little closer. Like I said, it might be tied. It might be tied because Curry could be looked at as the greatest shooter of all time. You can make an argument for that. And then LeBron could be looked at as the greatest athlete in basketball of all time. It could be looked at as that, off of longevity and stuff like that. So it's close. It's close.
Those two arguments you made, I wouldn't argue those at all. Like, I think it's without a doubt, you're right. Curry's the greatest shooter of all time. I don't think it's a debate. I also think LeBron is legit the greatest athlete. And I'm putting him up there with Deion Sanders. I'm putting him up there with Bo Jackson, Russell Wilson. Even before our era, like Jim Brown. He's got to be my age. I think he's 40. It's incredible, bro. It's still incredible that he's doing what he's done. I'm just a little bit of a sucker for that final takeover again, man. And he's done it. And there was some moments in his career where you looked at him and went, this dude's unguardable. But then there's been some other moments where he just completely disappeared. So I can't put him in the same breath in terms of greatness. GOAT with Jordan. You hearing that?
Yeah, and that's my thing when it comes to LeBron or Jordan debate. I don't always look at, you could look at the rings, you could look at the stats, you could look at all that as a fact to factor in who you want to choose. But for me, it's that dog in Jordan. And that just gives him that much more over LeBron to me. It's 100%. That dog that he showed and that grit. And it's just, you don't see that a lot. So that's what it is for me personally.
I think we talked about this before on here. The Redeem Team, the documentary that was talking about Kobe and how they brought Kobe into the Olympics or the World Games. I think it was the Olympics. And the mindset that you're talking about showed up in that documentary so much, and it's so clear that where people compare LeBron to Jordan, that's not even a fair comparison. It's more Kobe to Jordan, and being that Kobe had Jordan to kind of like teach him and school him on some things, he's just Jordan 2.0. And
3, 2, that's all right. I shoot him better when the clock going down. Nah, I ain't got no hands.
I grew up watching him, and I grew up having that same type of edge and competitiveness.
I know where you're going. You gotta get up quick. If you knew where I was going, why you go for the fake? Mike, after you face the ball, where else you gonna go? You left your feet. Yeah, but where else you gonna go? In the game, I go for you. I spun all the way around. I go for these ribs right here.
Michael and I both know there's certain players that we can intimidate. Certain players are afraid. You run into a player that has the same DNA that you do, has the same competitive spirit that you do. And you quickly realize that the bullying and the trash talking is not going to work.
Take away this whole argument for everyone doesn't take away from their greatness, but how Kobe had that mentality in there, and it separated when that documentary you see none of those guys had his mentality. Dwayne Wade, for as great as he is, didn't have it. LeBron, as great as he didn't have it. Chris Bosh, none of them. So it just shows that there's just a little level that those guys are on above them, man.
Yeah, that slight insanity type level when you can touch the insanity. Yeah.
That's the perfect way to put it. It's the perfect way to put it.